Hey y'all, welcome to TXC Tells All, or welcome back if you're one of our subscribers. So if you're just joining us first time on the channel, I am an attorney and so is Larita. So we talk about all different types of issues on here: legal, law school, personal, everything. So make sure you tune in and check out our channel. But today's video is about our law school graduates. What are you going to do after graduation? Now, some of y'all may be watching this and saying, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I have it all lined up. I have a job lined up, and that's great for you. First of all, congratulations on graduating law school. You did that. Big accomplishment. And second of all, congratulations to you if you know exactly what you're going to do after law school. But some of us did not know exactly what we were going to do after law school. And if you're watching this and you're like, that's me, that's me. I have no idea what I'm going to do. Make sure you keep watching. I'm going to talk about 5 things you need to consider if you're thinking about what is it that I'm going to do now that I've graduated law school. All right, now first thing, question that you need to ask yourself. Take a minute. It's a lot going on. You celebrated graduation, but ask yourself this: do I actually want to be a licensed practicing attorney? Now, I know you might be saying, of course I do. I went to law school. That's what I did all of this for. But there are other options. And if you are hesitant about taking the bar and actually practicing as a licensed attorney, at least for right now, make sure you consider those other options, because law school, yes, it does lead you to a career of being a practicing attorney if that's what you want. But there are a lot of other options for JDs, for people who have went to law school and graduated. There are a lot of other career options. So let's just touch on a few. All right, so some of us may have went to law school and said, I don't want to be a litigator. I don't want to be a practicing attorney. I don't want to be a corporate transactional, none of that. One of the other options you have is to be a legal recruiter. So if you're not a practicing attorney, you still have skills as a JD, a graduate of law school, to determine who may have the talent to be a good associate attorney candidate, a good partner at a law firm, and you can be a legal recruiter that actually works to place those people in positions. So you're like a middleman, a conduit between the person applying for the job and the employer looking for talent. You find the talent and you connect them with the job that you think might work for the person, and then you think the company might like, and then you get paid. You can work for a company, or you can even start your own legal recruiting company. So as a JD, that's an option. I don't want to be the practicing attorney, but I think I would be a person that can identify talent and connect people to good legal jobs. You can do attorney placement, or you can even do administrative placement with paralegals and legal assistants and things like that. So legal recruiter is an option if you are asking yourself, I went to law school and I'm trying to consider what I want to do, and I think I might not want to be a practicing attorney. Now, another option is a Westlaw LexisNexis legal research assistant, or a salesperson that works for those companies selling the search engines that we use to different companies and law firms. So we probably seen them. If you went to law school, I'm sure you probably met a representative from Westlaw, LexisNexis, that came in to talk about the different things that LexisNexis and Westlaw can do for you and how to research. Those are jobs. Those people may be JDs, they may not. You probably have met some, and you maybe know that they graduated from law school and maybe decided not to go into a career as a practicing attorney. So working for LexisNexis or Westlaw is another option if you don't want to become an attorney. You can, I've heard they make pretty good money to working in sales in LexisNexis and Westlaw, and also working in like the research, research assistant capacity. So that's something to think about. It might not be a long-term thing for you, it might be, but it's another option, career option, if you see yourself graduating from law school and not becoming a practicing attorney. Another job that you don't need a bar license is working on the Hill. So working on Capitol Hill in DC, or working in legislation, working as a politician. A lot of people who work in politics are graduates. Some are attorneys, but some are not. They just graduated from law school. That's another career option. So if you see yourself, interested in legislation, interested in politics, get into that. That's another option if you want to say, I don't think I want to take the bar, but I still want to be in the legal arena. Legislation is another area where there are a lot of jobs available, especially if you're willing to move to DC, where there are a lot of government agencies, and of course Capitol Hill. there can be a lot of job opportunities in legislation. So already talked about 3 different options: legal recruiter, working for LexisNexis or Westlaw, and working in politics or working in legislation. Another option is becoming an arbitrator or mediator. A lot of arbitrators and mediators work in various different areas: family law. I know as an employment lawyer, we use arbitrators and mediators all the time. They work in the court system. There's just a lot of different opportunities for arbitrators and mediators, and you don't necessarily have to be a licensed attorney. There are multiple different programs out there, short, maybe 6 weeks, some are 3 days, depending on how long they are, that you can take a course to gain the skills to become an arbitrator or a mediator and then hit the ground running. So if it's something that you think you might be good at, you're not in the hot seat as the attorney representing the parties, but you're working as a neutral party to try to get a case or a situation resolved for people. Arbitration and mediation is something that you should definitely look into. So we got 4 options. You think you don't want to be a practicing attorney so far, we've talked about legal recruiting, arbitrator or mediator, working for LexisNexis or Westlaw, or working in legislation. So multiple different options out there. Another option is working as a human resource representative. People, a lot of these large companies and even medium-sized and small companies need human resources representatives, human resources managers, directors. There's a multitude of different areas to work in human resources, and having a JD with the skills that you have for problem solving, evaluation of situations, those can be really helpful in the human resources sector. I can tell you as a employment lawyer, I see human resources representatives all the time that are JDs. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely look into different companies and see what human resources positions they have available. All right, so the first question we focused on 5 things to consider when you graduate from law school if you don't know what you're going to do. We said, think about if you really want to be a practicing attorney, and if you don't, consider some other options for your legal career. Second question goes the other direction. If you do think about it and you say, no, I went to law school, I want to move forward, I want to be a practicing attorney, think about if you want to take the bar right after law school. So most of us now are graduating in May, either last week or the coming weeks. And if you don't feel like you're ready to jump right into bar study, because a lot of bar study programs started in May, weeks ago. So I know Themis, that's the bar study program that I took, started May 16th with their program getting students ready for the July 2022 bar exam. Right after graduation, usually within a week, you're sitting and you're studying for the bar exam. Were you ready for that? Are you ready for that? If the answer to that question is no, I feel like you have to do what's best for you. This is May. This is Mental Health Awareness Month, right? Mental health is real. If you're not in the mental space to study for the bar exam, then you may need to take a break and maybe take it in February. I know you might be looking at your classmates around you and saying, oh, everybody's taking the bar exam, I'm just going to do what everybody else did. And even if you started studying and you say, I don't think I have the mental capacity for this right now, everybody's situation is different. You may have different mental health, physical health, family situations going on. Really evaluate your own life and see if now is the time for you to be taking the bar exam. Because definitely what you don't want to do is go through this whole process of studying for the bar exam that is extremely taxing on you and your family, your mental health, your physical health, and spend the money to take the bar, spend the money to take a bar prep course, knowing that you really weren't in the space to do it, and then not being successful on the other side. So it's not going to be easy no matter when you do it. That's the truth. But you also have to evaluate your situation, and everybody's life is different. Is now the time for you to take the bar exam. You want to put yourself in the best position to be successful on the other side. So I think the second question you need to consider after graduation is, am I ready to study for the bar exam? And if not, then decide when you're going to take it. I would say don't put it off too long, but you definitely want to ask yourself that question because you don't want to waste your time or waste your money. All right, so third thing to consider, if you have decided to move forward and take the bar exam, think about what state you want to take the bar exam in. You want to take the bar exam in a state where you plan to either work or live or you have a job in. If you don't have your job lined up, then you really do need to consider what state you're taking the bar exam in. A lot of people just take the bar exam in the state that they, were going to law school in, but that's not necessarily always the answer. Sometimes you might not be even planning to stay in that state. You just went there for school. So if you're going to move to another state, a lot of states don't have reciprocity right away. You might have to work with your license for 5 years before you can transfer to another state without having to take the bar exam again. So think about that. I originally took Maryland. If you haven't watched some of the other videos, I took Maryland first because I went to law school in DC. I ended up not passing the Maryland bar, but when I thought about it, I wasn't really planning on staying in the DC, DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. So I kind of just took the Maryland bar exam because a lot of the students in my class were taking Maryland, DC, and Virginia because we were in that area. But I think if I would have kind of followed my own advice that I'm giving you now and thought about it, I would have took a different bar exam at that time. I ended up then taking New York and New Jersey, which leads me to my next point. If you're thinking about what state to take the bar exam in, you might want to consider taking a state where you can get double licenses. So I took New York and New Jersey. I was able to do that all in one sitting. So I took the February bar exam after I failed the Maryland bar exam in July. If you haven't checked out that video, check it out. But when I took February, I was able to take New York. New York's the first 2 days, and then also take New Jersey in that same sitting. So now I know things are a little bit different with the UBE, but evaluate where you want to be when you consider taking the bar exam. Okay, next question or next thing to consider is, should I work and study for the bar exam at the same time? Like I said, everybody's situation is different. Your family, financial, all of that might be different. So for some of you watching this, you might say, that wasn't a question. I have to work and study for the bar exam, work through law school, have to continue doing it. I didn't work when I first studied for the bar exam, New York and New Jersey, but I did work when I took the Texas bar exam. So, I think because I've seen it from both sides, it was great to be able to just focus and study, but it's definitely not impossible to work and study for the bar exam. I was working a full-time job when I took the Texas bar exam, and I passed it. So I think, and I think it sometimes for some people it helps with discipline, right? I knew I had to go to work, and I had a study schedule for after working on the weekends, and I really stuck to that schedule because I knew I had limited time. So if you do need to work because you need to make money to pay bills, trust me, it is definitely possible to work and study for the bar exam. Is it taxing and tiring and all of that? Definitely. And just to be transparent, at the time, I didn't have any kids at the time. I didn't have a family, so I was able to just work and focus on the bar exam. I didn't have to, take care of children or anything like that at that time. So that was helpful, but you got to do what you got to do. So just kind of evaluate before you start your process. Do I need to work, or is working going to be a good idea for me if I need to study for the bar exam at the same time? All right, and number 5, the last thing to consider is, should I get an LLM? Now, LLMs, for those of you who don't know, are masters in law. So after you graduate from law school, you can decide to then move on to get a master's in law. Most of the programs are about 1 year if you're going full time. And it gives you an opportunity to specialize. So as you know, by going through the law school process, you are able to take some electives in law school with coursework that you might be in an area that you might be interested in, but you're not really specializing. You're taking courses that are required to get your JD. But an LLM gives you an opportunity to specialize. Let me give you an example. So a lot of tax attorneys decide to get an LLM because it gives them the opportunity to specialize in tax. Now, some tax attorneys will tell you an LLM is not necessary. Some will tell you there are definitely some benefits to do that course of study after your JD if you're going to go into that area of law. But I'll link in the description box a few YouTube videos that I found with different people talking about their experiences with LLMs, some professors talking about, whether they think LLMs are beneficial or not. So check those videos out. I will definitely link them in the description box. But another reason I know people go for it and get LLMs is to, 1, specialize, but 2, also to sometimes go to some prestigious law schools after their JD in order to get the benefits of that, the networking of that university. So for example, let me give you a couple examples. So Berkeley has a LLM course program, and they actually do 3 different kinds. So Berkeley Law has an executive track, a traditional track, and a thesis track. Their executive track is like their flexible online study LLM program. Then their traditional is a 9-month program, but you have to be on campus. And then their thesis track is a 9-month program, and it's on campus. You do academic study, and then you also do a research component. So they have like 3 different ways you can do it. Berkeley has a really, really large network if you're going to be in that area. So if you went to another undergrad, not undergrad, I'm sorry, JD, to get your JD at a different university, sometimes people like to get their LLMs at like higher tier law schools to try to get the network from, or just get that on their resume. So it's like, okay, I went to this law school to get my JD, but I went to Berkeley for my LLM, or I went to Yale for my LLM. Yale also has an LLM, and their LLM is interesting. They only take 25 students per year, and they allow you to tailor your coursework to what you want. So they don't have a designated course of coursework for their LLM. They let you pick the courses for the areas that you are interested in. So I thought that was pretty interesting. If you want more information on Yale's LLM, I'll put the link to the Yale LLM website in the description box below. You can actually go on the website, put in your name and your contact information, and they will send you more information about their program. Texas A&M, I'm here in Texas. Texas A&M also has an LLM program. You can request information on their website as well if you want more information about that. So I'll put that link in the description box too. So you have other options, right? We talked about a couple on here, 5 different things to consider when you graduate from law school. You don't have to go straight into taking the bar exam and becoming a licensed attorney. I think you owe it to yourself to think about what it is you want to do, because it's a big decision. Just like law school was a big decision, deciding what to do with your career after you graduate law school is a big decision. So make sure you think about it. I hope this video was helpful. Comment in the comment section below if you have any more questions or different things that you've thought about. Make sure you check out the rest of the videos on our channel. I think they'll be helpful, even if you're going to study for the bar. If you're studying for the bar right now, we have some bar exam tips too for you to take a look at. So thanks for watching. Hope this helped.